This is like my third or fourth time doing this. I keep having to reformulate my thoughts. I apologize if I sound like a mess. It's because I am. Um, I left, as you can read in the title, I left my job making $750,000 a year plus uh, as a senior software engineer in a Fortune 500 company. It's really crazy. I totally understand that, and I totally understand how privileged I was and still am. Especially with what the average everyday American is going through with inflation and prices. It's just crazy. It boggles my mind, but I had to leave, and the biggest impetus for this was my health. I was born with a heart condition, so I need to be hyper diligent about my blood pressure, about how I'm taking care of myself, and I just haven't been doing that. And I've been in hypertension now for the last year. My resting heart rate has been over 100 beats per minute for the last month, and I genuinely felt like I was on the road to having a heart attack and leaving my wife and my animals and my family. And as they say, health is wealth, and that is really, really true. So I needed to just step back. So, the main reason for my health being so bad is just stress. And surprise, surprise, no shocker here. The number one is AI. It's really easy to just drag this one through the mud because, it sucks, and just beat it with a baseball bat and just shoot spitballs at it like everyone else has. And there's probably nothing here that I'm going to say that's original or new or an experience someone else hasn't had. But I just really and genuinely wanted to just bash my head against my desk every single second that I had to use Claude. It's not that it's bad necessarily. It's just when you go from being someone that enjoys the actual craft, like the art of writing code, and all the things that just come with it, and those little dopamine hits from solving these little problems by yourself. When you go from having that to literally overnight, someone saying no, that's not how you're gonna work anymore. It kind of messes with your head pretty bad. Yeah, I just lost all self of individuality and creativity, and like I said, that little dopamine hit. That's a big thing for us engineers. I feel like talking with my peers, my old coworkers, everybody feels the same way. Just not having that little sense of you did something good. You actually don't ever get that sense anymore. Because Claude can just do it all for you, but worse usually. So that's kind of like the first big thing. Removes creativity and kind of like those little dopamine hits. The second is that I didn't join or sign up for being a babysitter, and my God, did they have me babysitting? uh, Man, they had all the diapers out. They had the full thing. They were like, "Hey, man, you're just a straight up babysitter now. Best of luck. If you whine or complain about it, you're gone." Okay, so for those of you who don't know, when you have Claude, this AI, it can spin up sub agents to do smaller little tasks. Imagine you're like the lead of a team and you're delegating to your individual employees, hey, do this, this, and this. Some people are built for that type of work. Others are just not. And I'm just not. And coupled with how we were being forced to work or being requested to work, at least on my team, kind of compounded this issue because it turned from, hey, you would work on this one thing for a week, maybe 3 days, to you can now prioritize 4 different items of work and do all those in parallel at the same time. So that just left me doing babysitting 4 Claudes that had multiple sub agents each. On a bad day, 16 Claude sub agents I had to babysit. That context switching of jumping from this to this to this to this I just can't do it. It's just not how my brain works. I can context switch, but doing it that much, man, it really grinds you down, like against the grindstone. Really erodes you away. I'll just keep it at that because I have a million other things I could say about Claude, but just AI, agentic. Oh God, I hate that word. Agentic development in general. Kind of the second part is I just didn't know how to play corporate politics. Everyone has to go through the same thing where it's your director or your manager just has a bone to pick with someone, or they just need to look good. And we coined a phrase for this on my team. It's called optics driven development, to where the things we would actually work on are the things that would make my director look really good, but not necessarily be good for the end users of our product. And that was frustrating. It even got to the point where, even though I was still doing 4 things with Claude at a time, I would decide, you know what? Let's do 5. Let's do 5 things in parallel, because I feel really bad for. I worked on internal tools, so I feel really bad for the team that has to use the software that I built, that has been requesting these little small changes for literal years, but we just haven't gotten to it, and it keeps getting deprioritized. So let me just spin up a 5th Claude while I'm at it, and just go ahead and do that for them. And I would do that, over the course of a couple of months. Nothing big. It wouldn't impede the work I'm doing. But word got back to my director that our teams, who are supposed to work directly with her, were getting sidestepped. They were just going to me to help do these, we call them run the business items. And she really did not like that. Made her look real bad. So go figure, fixing the software that's constantly broken because we have to get things done in one day with the help of Claude. When I go to try to just fix and help the other team with those problems that we introduced and never fixed, I get in trouble and get written up for it. And then lastly, we're literally treated like children by our director, and we would she came up with this beautiful idea of, hey, what's a fun way that we can take 2 weeks of work and condense it down into 2 days? And what would be the best thing to call? Let's call them pizza parties, and let's give them pizza, where they literally cut the pizza slices in half to give us more pizza. I'm dead serious. They were throwing us pizza parties so that we can get 20 people in a room for 2 days straight, away from our desks where like our actual optimal work environment is, and grind out 2 weeks of worth of work, which we already said was not a good idea to do in 2 days. We did those all the time. And there was just this last one. I'll keep it short, but we were told, hey, this like foundational part of your project that you're going to be working on for the next 6 to 8 months, let's see if we can get that done in 3 days and ship it to users. And it'll be great. It'll be fine. Well, it wasn't great. It wasn't fine. And the whole thing blew up. And before we even actually did it, I voiced my concerns, and in the most pragmatic way that I possibly could. And very adult too. I know I kind of seem a little eccentric, maybe kind of hyped up because I am. But, I just sat down. Hey, I have anxiety about this. I have worries about this. Why are we doing this in 2 days? Where was the engineering representation in this decision? And there wasn't. And that made her look bad because that was in front of several people. And, they shared the same concern. But again, when you're in this office environment and there's this sycophant-based culture, she's very dictatorial. And and any sort of resistance to that is just bad. So I got put on a corrective action order for one, my helping of the other team, just doing little small odd end junk drawer type bug fixes and tech debt for them, and two, for going against the grain of the how did they put it, the direction of leadership. And between those two things, I had a boiling point because they didn't let me know that I had a corrective order. They sat me down in a meeting, and my director literally called me a dick 4 times in the meeting. My poor manager, she was great. My manager, she did everything she could to try to protect me, but my director, she is a piece of work. Hate's a really strong word, but I loathe that woman. She is so reactive and not proactive. I saw later, a couple weeks later after this meeting, that I actually had a formal corrective action against me, and I didn't sign anything. I wasn't informed that this was like on my permanent record, and it sent me into a real bad high blood pressure situation for several hours, and I started having arrhythmia, and I just knew that was it. I had to clear my desk and go home. And that's it. That's really my story. I didn't plan on this being the way my tenure would end. And it's a shame because I felt like everything I did was to benefit my team and our end users, and be pragmatic like I was taught through all my books and peers and great leadership. But man, an unstoppable force hits an immovable object, and immovable object was my director, and she won. That's about it. Honestly, what's next for me? I'm going to, I think, go into game development because it's something I'm good at as far as the programming side of things, and I'm really creative and I like to draw, and I think that I might be able to just create something that people might enjoy playing. I like puzzles. I like all types of games, to be honest. So it's really going to be hard to kind of narrow down on which one I want to make, but I think I'm going to do that. So I think just next for me is to try to reset my mental health and my physical health. So I'm here for my wife and my family long term, and just go back to my roots and do stuff that I think is fun and enjoyable. And I won't be using Claude ever again. I actually have more thoughts on that. If you guys want to hear more about my story or any particular parts about me, I know I'm the most interesting person in the world. Just let me know in the comments. I don't know. Maybe I'll make some videos about how to navigate toxic work culture, things of that nature. Although I wasn't successful in that, you can learn from my mistakes. If that's the reality you're in, it's kind of a situation you can't leave. So anyways, thanks for letting me vent and clear that off my chest. I really needed it. And hey man, love yourself and take care. You guys have a blessed rest of your day.